Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How are you? I am outside. It's a nice day. I mean, it's February, and depending on where you are in the world, I know here in Oregon, February is not normally the best month. In fact, it's usually one of the coldest. It's normally when we get snow and ice storms and, just definitely not decent weather. I mean, it's by no means warm, but gosh, it's probably about 50, which again, I mean, 50 is not, a tropical heat wave or anything, but for February, holy cow. I know some people will blame this on global warming. See, I told you. Global warming does exist. Hardcore factual proof. Because it's been decent in February in Oregon, it means that there's global warming. Everybody freak out. No, it's just that the weather doesn't follow a schedule. Mother Nature has her own agenda, or God, whatever you believe in, has its own agenda, and the world has been heating and cooling since it's been in existence. We've always had ice age, and we've always had the planet just regulate itself. The planet knows what it's doing. It has its way of balancing itself. And what is fact, what's actual, what the facts are is humans have not contributed significantly. Yes, we have contributed. Of course, cars and all of their pollution that comes out of cars and all of our coal and all of that, yes, of course, it has contributed. Yes. But people are acting like it is the one thing that is killing the planet. You know what would actually be worse? Electric cars. Electric cars are even worse. My God, children are putting them together. Children are putting together the components for the electric cars, and lithium. You don't want that crap. You don't want cobalt. You don't want lithium. You don't want all that crap produced. You don't want that stuff leaking into our soil. Our soil is what we are starting to lose. Farmland, land in general. I've never watched Yellowstone. Everyone has been just like I didn't watch Game of Thrones forever. I started watching Game of Thrones probably 3 years after it came out. And I know Yellowstone is probably an excellent show, and I'm sure I would love it, but I haven't watched it yet. And from what I understand, I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but what I understand is the concept is basically there's a man who has earned his land. He has bought his land. He has paid for his land. He has maintained his land. He has paid taxes on his land. It is his land. And the government, it sounds like maybe a Native American community, is trying to take that land and turn it into housing and to try to grow the community. And unfortunately, this is happening in real life, and it's happening all over. And what we're going to run out of is land to be able to grow food, land for our wildlife, homes for the animals, homes for our wildlife, land. I mean, we're going to end up being surrounded by just house after house. Land is going to be quite the hot commodity. And that's so sad. I just feel that is really sad. And I'm not trying to say we need less people on the earth, but I don't think we need 19. I don't think we need one family having 19 children. I feel it's reckless. And I feel right now there's a huge, and I know Elon Musk and others, I think Joe Rogan totally disagree. They feel, Nora, come on, come on. Oh gosh, sorry. Whoops. I didn't realize it started again. I got a phone call in the middle of my podcast, like I always do. And then you guys caught me yelling for my dog because she went down by the pond and she's deaf. So that's never good if she wanders. And she's got beagle in her, so that nose of hers. Anyway, climate change and everybody claiming that if it's, God forbid, if it's warm out, oh, climate change, it's climate change. No, it's just called the weather. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes it snows. Sometimes there's a drought. And you just never know. Nora, can you please come? Come on. Come on. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Come on. So it's not climate, it's not climate change. I mean, the climate's always changing. That's just what the earth does over millions of years. Look how much we change in our lifetime. In the very small, insignificant, given how long the earth has been around and how long it's going to be around, humans are alive for a very small, insignificant part of that. And look how much we change. The earth, when it has a million different environments like mountains and rivers and lakes and valleys and deserts and forests, glaciers, those things are going to change over time. They're going to change depending on many variants. Of course, humans are going to impact that. Obviously, we have completely taken over as far as, again, I think where we have done the most destruction is land. That's where we need to focus, if you ask me. We need to quit focusing on the air. Yes, the air quality in China, in Bangkok, I'm sure it's terrible. They definitely have a lot of cars and a lot of people. And again, that's where overpopulation. I don't know how Elon Musk is trying to claim that don't have enough people or that we're in some kind of crisis. China alone and India alone are overpopulated. New York is overpopulated. LA is overpopulated. There are people coming in from Mexico and different countries that are now going to overpopulate America, and we aren't going to have the space for them. So they need to go back to their own country, number one, if you're not here legally anyways. I'm not talking about if you're here the legal correct way. If you are an actual American citizen legally, by all means, stay. But we certainly, in my opinion, do not have a shortage of humans. In fact, if you ask me, I'm not trying to sound like Bill Gates at all. I'm not saying we should go around and try to exterminate them by making serums to inject into their bodies. I'm saying that we certainly don't need to have families that don't believe in birth control and to leave it up to God. I'm not trying to offend religious people. I'm really not. Your religion is your religion, and I certainly am not going to bash what you believe. What you believe is precious to you and significant to you. And if it makes you want to be a better person, then please, definitely, have a religion that keeps you kind of in check. But trying to claim that God is the one that deciphers how many children you have and not a condom or birth control, to me is insane. Because to me, it's sex. It's sex and sperm, and it's birth control that decides how many children you have. It's also your body allowing you to have children or not. It is, to me, not God. But for you, if it's God, that's great. But I don't feel that each family, like the Duggards, especially in light of what has come out about the Duggards, they certainly don't need more humans. Now, granted, I love the fact that they don't use welfare. I love that they're like, look, we've had this many kids, so it's our responsibility to take care of these kids and have jobs and teach them how to have jobs and make their own clothes and take care of themselves and be self-sufficient. That's amazing. More people should do that, certainly. If you're going to have a bunch of kids, at the very least, teach them how to care for themselves and, sew and cook and change a tire and all of that. But I just think we have a lot of people on this planet, and we certainly don't have, in my opinion, a population crisis. I think we have a population crisis, as in I think we have too many people, and we don't have enough land. Soil. We need soil to be able to plant food. We don't need foods made in a lab. We need land for our animals. What are the cow that we eat going to, where are they going to live? What are they going to eat? Where are they going to be? In a lab? That's ridiculous. Chickens, goats, pigs, elk, deer. Where if we don't have land, if all the land is going to be built on, this is where I say I'm a conservative hippie. I guess I am a libertarian. I believe in pro-choice. I believe with limits. I don't think you need to be 6 months pregnant and getting an abortion, nor do I think you should use abortion as birth control. Hey, Gwen, get out there. Good girl. Yes. Good, leave it. I don't think you should use abortion as birth control. I don't think that it should be taken lightly. I think it's something you need to seriously think about. But I'm not against it. Again, I don't believe in late-term abortion. But it's sad to me that we don't take care of our land. We're so focused on air. We are not focused at all about the fact that we're kind of running out of room. That's my opinion. Anyway, that's one thing that's been on my mind is property. I need to watch Yellowstone. We've been getting a lot of dogs at the kennel named Rip now because of Yellowstone. I need to watch it so I know what they're referring to. Gwenny, no. Come on, Gwendolyn. Oh my gosh, she's going underneath my shed. Gwenny, come on. Good girl. Yes, good girl. Come on. But what else? So Tucker Carlson did an interview with Putin, little poot, and I listened to all but about 20 minutes of it. And it's interesting to me that Putin kind of tried to make himself out to be a peacekeeper. Like, I've just been sitting here trying to tell everybody this is what we should do for the greater good, And I'm just this peacekeeper who always just wants peace and what's best for everybody. And everybody else keeps, talking me out of it. And everybody else keeps messing it up. Now, I agree. That's probably true. I think there are times when with regards to the Ukraine and with America, I believe him. I think there have definitely been times where he's tried to work with us or work with Ukraine or do something that is in the best interest of not just that country, but him as well. And it got all messed up. But it just cracks me up that he did kind of try to come off like he's this, peacekeeper almost. Oh man, where is my dog Nora? She wanders. Lord. But it's interesting to me also that Tucker's getting so much backlash for having an interview with somebody. Do you know how many journalists would kill to have interviews with high power people like Saddam Hussein, like Mussolini, and no one cared. That's called getting the truth. People want to get the truth. They want to hear both sides of the story. They want to hear all perspectives. You can't hate somebody. You can't hate a person or hate a country or hate their politics if you know nothing about them. If you do, you're a moron. You're an idiot. You don't get to form an opinion without having any type of facts or any type of knowledge. Nora, get over here. Or any type of knowledge. Whether you feel this person is a monster or not. Whether there has been facts that this person is a monster or not, I still think you should hear both sides of the story. That's why if someone gets convicted of murder, the person convicted of murder still gets a trial. They still get to have their side told. I mean, even O.J. Simpson, who we all freaking know did it, he got his side of the story told. Everybody gets their side of the story told, regardless if they're a piece of crap or not, and that's how it should be. We don't get to form an opinion without having the facts and having the information. Or at least we shouldn't. We can. We have. We do it all the time. We're constantly forming opinions about things that we know nothing about. I've done it. I've done it many times. I'm not perfect. I certainly have done it, and we need to stop doing that. And the media should 1000% be held accountable and have legal action taken because of all the misinformation. Misinformation, misinformation, misinformation. When did journalism become about misinformation? When did journalism stop becoming about facts and gathering information, gathering good and bad information, gathering information that may or may not make somebody look bad? When did we stop caring about facts and we started caring so much about hurting people's feelings? It's good to not want to hurt people's feelings. Obviously, people shouldn't go around making it their goal to piss people off and hurt somebody. Obviously, we should be good people. But like Ben says, fact over feelings. Facts are greater than feelings because they are. Your feelings are important. Well, depending, they're not important at all. Your feelings have no relevance whatsoever when it comes to things like how the country is ran and what's best for the country. Then your feelings are relevant in the sense that, okay, you have them. But we need to start taking, I guess, we need to start voting and taking more responsibility for going to city council meetings and starting with our own city and our own state, going to council meetings, getting involved. If we are actively trying to change something, but if there are facts and there are feelings, and unfortunately, whether you agree with something or not, it's still a fact. And the fact is, journalists are supposed to be gathering information, whether it's good or bad, talking to people they like or don't like, regardless if they like them or not. They're supposed to be getting both sides of the story. And that is what Tucker Carlson wanted to do. He wanted to make sure that the media didn't continue to cover up and cover up and cover up and hide and hide and hide. Nora, excuse me. Nora, come here. Gosh. The media needs to stop being allowed to get away with giving us false information that can actually hurt us. It can genuinely, literally harm us, like with the COVID vaccination. Stop giving us information that is false or blown out of proportion or skewed for your own benefit at the detriment of humans that pay the taxes, that trust in you, that trust you to give us information so we know how to take care of our families. How dare you want me to inject my family with a bunch of crap that you fucking know is not going to help us in any way, and in fact could harm us, just like they do with most medications. Almost every fucking medication out there has something that can kill us in it, that has the worst side effect, that is way worse than what you're actually taking the medication for. I don't know when the media decided to just do whatever the fuck they wanted, but they should be held accountable. They should be put in prison. Anyone that has knowingly lied over and over, Nora, can you please, that has knowingly lied over and over and given us fake, false information should be in prison. Our government is, well, it's unfortunately the enemy. Social media has become, well, not social media necessarily, but certain social media outlets, TikTok, Instagram, has become the enemy, Facebook, because they allow the misinformation. How sad is that? How disgusting and disturbing that there are people out there that don't give a rat's ass about what is best for the people of this country that are getting up every day, working our tails off, suffering so many, mental health, addiction, depression, and we still have to get up and somehow survive. And all the government wants to do is to continue to bring us down and lie to us as we continue to boost their ratings and line their pockets. Gross. Gross and disturbing. But Tucker's interview with Putin was necessary. And for anybody to have a problem with it, they're a bunch of hypocrites and pieces of shit, in my opinion. Because if you have a problem with gathering truth, then you have something to hide. What are you hiding that you don't want exposed? What are you hiding that you're so fearful that's going to come to light, that's going to come to surface? What don't you want people to know, and why? Why is the government always lying to us? Sad and scary. Sadder and scarier is the fact that Oregon is the biggest piece of crap state because it's so against anybody being remotely educated. They are very much against education. They are very much against having a healthy having mental health. Nora, get over here. Having their mental health be cared for. They're against work. They're lazy, ignorant people. Come here, who make up excuses, lie around in sweats. Nora! Yeah, it's just frustrating. Oregon is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to America. Colorado, embarrassment. Illinois, embarrassment. Pretty much any Democratic state, huge embarrassment, a detriment to society. Hypocritical beyond all measure. To say it's okay to graduate without having a good grasp of the English language or being able to read or write, and yeah, you can graduate high school. Are you kidding me? No. But yet, if you try to become an American citizen legally through the proper legal channels, you have to know stuff that there are kids these days who wouldn't know any of it. They don't know anything about the Constitution. They don't know anything about our founding fathers. Gosh, excuse me, I'm tired. They know nothing. But if you ask an illegal immigrant that's trying to get here legally, I'm telling you, they know far more about us. I went to Nepal, and the Nepalese people, there was a gentleman who knew every single capital of every single state. I guarantee you there are high schoolers that don't know every capital or even half of the capitals of the United States. And this man not only knew all the capitals of the United States, but he knew all the capitals in other countries. We don't know that. And apparently we don't care because, again, the government likes us stupid. The government prefers us to be uneducated so that we just nod our heads and continue to nod politely and do whatever they say. And anybody that is on board with that and finds that okay is a weak link that should, well, they're a weak link. They're a detriment. They're useless. Sorry, but you are. If you are on board with being uneducated, with graduating high school without being able to read and write, you are a detriment and useless. If you are on board with having a flag that is just for the African American population or just for the transgender population, when we have the American flag that encompasses every single person from every single background, that includes transgender and gay and African American, includes all races, includes gender, both two genders, that includes religion, political background. We already have that. It's called the American fucking flag. It's called the American flag, the red, white, and blue. That is the flag. If you are on board with separate flags and separate anthems and separating, you're useless. Go move to Palestine if you think that Palestine is this great, wonderful country and Israel is this piece of crap country that is just picking on Palestine. Go to Palestine. Taylor Swift, get the fuck out of here. Madonna, get the fuck out of here. Chelsea Handler, get the fuck out of here. Matt Damon, George Clooney, get the fuck out of here. You're all useless. You are gestures. You're court gestures. You don't have an important job. What are you contributing? Nothing. And yet you act like if you're gone, people are going to care. What are you contributing? What are you contributing? You are a gesture. You are a court gesture. You are hired paid entertainment. You are overpaid court gestures. Don't go thinking you're all that. We can live without you. We don't need your narcissism. Narcissism doesn't save the world. You being pretty, knowing how to dance, knowing how to sing, knowing how to act, that's just entertaining. We have real people. We have reality TV now. We have engineers and doctors. We have construction workers and plumbers and electricians that are needed. You're not needed. You are an extra extravagance that is unnecessary. I'm not saying you as a human are unnecessary. I'm saying your job is completely useless and completely unnecessary. And you do not need to have the attitude of being a king or queen and that people give a shit about, like, Beyonce not getting an award, as if that's the biggest thing. Talk about first world problems. Oh, did Beyonce not get an award? Why are we always fucking talking about Beyonce? I think her voice sounds like a cow in heat. Ugliest voice I've ever heard. Ugliest family I've ever seen. And they are the most self-absorbed. My God, every time we turn around, Beyonce's talking about herself or someone's talking about how great Beyonce is. Bebe. Oh, Bebe. What the fuck is Bebe doing for the world? Singing about things that are not at all remotely important. Singing god-awful, by the way, about things that are not important. Same with Taylor Swift. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love music, love watching TV. I love to be entertained, but I can get entertained without actors and singers. I love music. Comedy now, I appreciate comedians. Comedians actually get up there and they write their own scripts and they're vulnerable and they're putting themselves out there to entertain us. They are writing their own scripts. Or they have other people help them, but they're going out there and yes, they're memorizing lines, but they're lines that either them and someone else came up with. They're vulnerable. They're putting themselves out there. Respect. I respect country singers that go out and sing for the troops. I'm not saying it's just country singers that do that, but people that put their money where their mouth is. They don't just donate money. To me, anybody can donate money. But if you're actually working with your hands to help build a school or build houses for the homeless, if you're actually out there nailing nails into a board, using your hands to get dirty, that's help. That's admirable. Just donating an article of clothing that you pulled out of your closet that you were going to get rid of anyway, that no longer fits you or you don't like, and being like, I'm so charitable. I'm so great because I'm taking an article of clothing that I probably got for free and I'm not wanting it anymore. So I'm going to go donate it for someone else to put the money up for and someone else to pay all the money for. No, it's that person that actually bought that item, that actually purchased that item, and then that money goes to charity. Who the fuck cares if Ellen puts in a pair of her shoes? BFD. That you didn't do anything. I love people like Angelina and Jolie who actually go out and put their money where their mouth is. People that actually get dirty. Donating money is admirable. I'm not saying that's bad. That's great. That's great if you donate money. Maybe you don't have time to get your hands dirty, but you have time to go on vacation. You have time to post a bunch of social media stuff. You have time for tours. You can't squeeze in time to help out, go volunteer at a soup kitchen and actually, put in the sweat equity. You don't have time for that. I don't know. It's funny to me that we worship people that we've never spoken to and we don't know how they are behind closed doors. They could be the biggest assholes and they could beat their husbands or wives. They could beat their animals. They could, who knows? Who knows? But we don't know who they are and we worship them because we see their character and who they put out on social media. We should actually be looking up to and striving to be people that have had such a bad life and still get up every damn day and are respectful and kind and polite and work. We should look up to people that actually work and use their hands to put in sweat equity. People that actually treat others kindly and go out of their way to help others, not for the fame, not so they can post it on their Instagram, not so they can have a West Wing dedicated to them or a plaque in their honor. You do it because that is the thing that you should do because we are humans and we're on this planet together and we should look out for one another. We shouldn't do it for the glory. But Jay-Z and Beyonce, gross. The Kardashians, ew. Taylor, ew. Why are we looking up to these people? What the fuck are they contributing? I just don't get it. I mean, hey, you like who you want. You do you, Scotty P. Like who you want. I just think we should maybe look at the veterans and maybe idolize the veterans or the military or teachers or doctors or, I don't know, even electricians and contractors. There are so many people out there that have had very, like Keanu Reeves to me. He's a celebrity I feel we should look up to. Talk about a humble guy that doesn't bitch and moan and go all over talking about how great he is. Other people talk about how great he is, but he does not. Other people say how wonderful he is. He doesn't brag about it, though. He doesn't do it for the glory. He doesn't do it for his social media. I don't even know if he has social media. What happened to us? Internet happened to us. Social media happened to us. We no longer give a shit anymore because we can hide everything and disguise everything and we can have rose-colored glasses with social media. We show people what we want them to see, not what actually is going on. We're not showing people what's actually going on. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, and it's sad. I don't know where your ball is, dude. Go get it. Go get your ball. Anyway, I'm trying to focus on the fact that it is a nice day. It's got to be about, I don't know, like 54, I would say, which again, I'm not saying is some hot tropical thing, but it is February, and February, at least in Oregon, around the valley, is notorious for being icy and cold and snowy. Global warming. Must be that global warming. You know, if we, God forbid, have a nice day, then it's global warming. The only logical explanation. There is zero other possibility, right? I love that. I love how we act like things that we say, like that is the only explanation. Like watching Ghost Adventures. At least with Ghost Adventures, they do try to debunk things. They do try to look for something else it could be besides supernatural. So I do like that. I like that they're like, okay, wait, before we jump to, but then there's other things, there's other times that they'll hear something, especially if they're outside. I'm like, you're outside. Do you know how many noises are outside that you aren't going to be able to explain? But all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, this is hardcore proof. No, it's not hardcore proof at all. It's something that you heard that as of right now, you can't explain. That as of right this moment, you don't have an explanation for. You've tried to find different explanations. You've tried to find different reasons for this sound or this noise or this thing that you saw, and so far you can't find one. It doesn't mean that it's paranormal, though. Not saying I don't believe in ghosts. I'm just saying that I'm skeptical, as in, I think there are definitely many, many things we cannot explain and will never be able to explain. I think there are many things that go on in this world that we don't know about or that we'll never understand completely, and ghosts may be one of them. I'm just saying it takes a lot for me to go, that's definitely interesting. That's definitely it's hard to explain. And I like that. More people should be that way. They shouldn't easily be swayed. I've said this a million times. I've never been one to care for magic or Harry Potter or fantasy because I'm like, whatever, it's not real. I've just always been one that wants to explain the magic. I'm like, nope, that's not real because he's doing this. And that's probably for other people not fun because they're like, well, you're just a fuddy-duddy. You're ruining the fun. But I'm just more science-based. I like to find the reasons behind things. I don't like to just be like, oh, that's what it is. I got duped. How fun. I don't find it fun. And I'm not saying that's right. It's great if you like magic. I wish that I kind of believed more, or that I allowed myself to let my guard down enough to believe in magic or believe in whimsical, fun things. But I'm just so science-based that I've never liked the Harry Potter movies. I've never liked any fantasy type movies. I love watching documentaries. I love reading biographies. I like watching shows that are like how it's made and stuff like that because they're factual. And that's just how my mind thinks. And I'm not saying I'm correct. Like I said, I kind of wish that I would let my guard down a little more, not be so rigid. But I do wish that other people would look at facts more. I guess we need that balance, the balance between whimsical and idiotic and gullible. Sorry, my dog is breathing very heavy in the background. Probably so am I, because I'm walking up and down my hill in the property. So again, if I'm breathing heavily, it's because I'm out of shape. So those are some things on my mind. Let's take a minute and remember that there are two sides to every story. There are different perspectives. I've said this throughout my podcast. I've said this in many, many episodes. Look at things like a photographer. Photographers look at things from all angles, all perspectives, to try to get a clear picture. And I think that we all need to do that in life. We need to hear everybody out, even if it's our enemy, because it's best to understand our enemy. Don't you think it's better to be educated about our enemy than not? Isn't it kind of stupid and reckless? Isn't it very, very reckless and dumb to not know anything, not know the truth about our supposed enemy? If we have an enemy out there, if we have somebody that we're all supposed to hate and we're all supposed to be fighting against, and, our taxpayers are paying for a country and a person that we supposedly are on board with, and supposedly we agree with their politics and we're trying to help them, well, shouldn't we know about the people that our taxes, that we are really working very, very, very hard, no matter how tired and exhausted and sad and depressed we are. We get out of bed and we have to work our asses off at a job that we probably don't like. And then almost all of our fucking taxes goes to paying for a country that's actually a piece of shit. They're no better than Russia. Ukraine, it's like they're both evil. Ukraine and Russia both have leaders that are shitty. China, shitty. Korea, shitty. We have a lot of shitty leaders. It doesn't mean it has to be either or. We don't have to pick one that we like. How about we just go, no, they're all shitty. They're all crappy. Biden included. We just have shitty leaders around the country. Canada's prime minister, crappy. We have a bunch of right now shitty, crappy people that are making decisions for entire countries. We don't have to pick one and side with it. We can hate them all, we can like them all, but shouldn't we know information about the Ukraine and its leaders? Shouldn't we know about the leaders of each country that we are giving money to, or that we supposedly side with and stand with or support? Shouldn't we also know about countries that we supposedly hate and stand against and think are evil? Shouldn't we know why? And shouldn't we hear it from their mouths, whether they're telling the truth or not? We don't know. But our own politicians don't tell the truth. Our own media doesn't tell the truth. But wouldn't it be nice to just hear what they have to say? Shouldn't we always do that? Don't we teach our kids to do that? Or are we just going to teach our children that, hey, you know what? When someone says something, you go ahead and be an idiot and believe the first thing that some stranger says to you? Are we going to start teaching our kids that if someone is an adult or someone is in charge, that they are 100% correct and right and they're never wrong? I used to tell my kids all the time, and it used to piss people off, that if a teacher tells you something, or if an adult tells you something, if a scientist, if a doctor, if a lawyer tells you something, just because they're educated doesn't mean they're correct. Sometimes educated people make mistakes because they're humans, and humans make mistakes no matter how smart or wealthy you are. No matter what degree you have, sometimes you make mistakes. Thank God. Thank God we make mistakes somehow, because sometimes otherwise we're not going to learn. We're not going to be better people. We're not going to be humbled. Mistakes make us humble. Mistakes make us learn. Mistakes make us research. Mistakes make us want to be better. I would hope that's what they should do. Mistakes make us want to find the truth, to do it better the next time. I would hope. Because as they say, if you keep doing it over and over again, it's not a mistake anymore. Now you're just doing it on purpose. It's no longer a mistake. So wouldn't you want more journalists and more people to go out and talk to the leaders of each country to say, hey, here is America. Here's what we believe in. What do you believe in, China? What do you believe in, Ukraine? What do you believe in, Russia, Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Sweden? What do you guys believe? Who are the leaders of your countries? And let's delve into their background. Let's talk to them. Wouldn't that be a better word? Communication. Don't most counselors and psychiatrists talk about communication? Communication is important. It's key. Can't really do battle, can't really go into war or protect yourself from war if you don't have communication. Social media has fucked communication. Social media has made it to where there is no communication. Gwenny, where the communication is just what people want to see. Again, it's what we choose to allow. Filters. I don't use filters on my camera. Not saying there's anything against people that use filters on your camera when you're photography. You should use some. I probably should use more. But when you use a filter, it's so that the thing that you're looking at looks different. whether it looks brighter, maybe it looks darker, maybe it looks blurrier, maybe it looks pink. And that's okay. If you want to change your perspective, if you want to change the thing that you're looking at and you want to make it look different, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. But I'm just saying that there are filters, and filters are to change what you are looking at. They alter your perspective. And that is what social media has done. You can put filters. You can take the ugliest person in the world, put a filter on them, put a bunch of mascara and wigs and makeup and hair extensions and eyelash extensions and, make someone look beautiful. But again, that's in the eye of the beholder. To somebody else, that person's ugly. So again, perspective. So let's talk about filters, perspective, and communication. Seeking the truth. Those are the things I want people to think about. Communication, filters, and seeking the truth. Perspective. Those are things that have been on my mind. Those are things that should be on everybody's mind. And who we choose to idolize. Why are we idolizing anybody? We could look up to somebody and say, man, that person's doing something that I really admire. I really look up to. I think they're a great person because of whatever your reason is. But I'm just saying, should we do that with people we've never met? Of course, I've done that. I've never met Keanu Reeves. I've heard other people talk about Keanu Reeves, but who knows if that's true? Maybe he's genuinely an asshole. I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence to support that, but that doesn't mean anything. People didn't see evidence to support Ted Bundy being a serial killer. But he was. To the naked eye, everybody thought he was this charming person. But it was a filter that he used. It was how he communicated. So he warped people's perspective, We need to do our own research. So that's where I want to leave it. Those are some things that have been keeping me up. And again, I cannot tell you enough. I can't thank you enough. I can't stress enough how insanely amazing it is that people are listening to me, that there are people that have listened to me more than once. I love it. Thank you. Tell your friends. I appreciate it so much. And wherever you are in the world, I hope that, like I said, if you are putting one foot in front of the other and you are getting up every day, no matter what is going on in your life, I honestly support you. I praise you. There are people who have the best lives ever that just complain and complain and complain. So to those of you out there that aren't the complainers, they're the solutions. They're the ones that come up with solutions. They're the ones that are the doers. They aren't the talkers. They put their actions to fruition, I should say. They walk the walk. So to those of you out there that do that, I appreciate you. My hat's off to you. And also rest in peace, Toby Keith. God, that bothered me. I don't know Toby Keith. I've never met him, but he appeared to be a good dude. So like everybody says, I'm lifting my red Solo cup to you, Toby. And till next time, thanks for listening to The Ramblings of an Insomniac.